Students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss the types of companies. Already we have discussed the basic concept of company, what is meant by company, what is meant by company and its features, advantages, disadvantages, etc. In this lecture, we are going to deal with the various types of companies. So, once a company is registered, then it has various types. It is known by various types. So, the classification has been made thereon. So, as far as the incorporation is considered, as far as the registration is considered, then there are mainly three types of the company we generally see. Whereunder first type of a company comes is that of a chartered company. Second is a statutory company. And third is a registered companies. On the basis of incorporation of the company, these three types have been evolved. So, what is meant by chartered company? So, a chartered company is a company which has been registered or incorporated under a special royal charter issued by the king or queen or the head of the state. Chartered companies means what? You might be knowing that when India was ruled by the British queen, that time the Britishers, they were passing some charters. Charters means nothing but an act, nothing but a statute. Charter means law. So they were passing charters. Charter of 1600, for example, by which an East India Company was established in England for making a trade with Asian countries. So, charter means a law, but that charter is passed by the or was passed by the Britishers. For example, the East India Company, the Bank of England, Hudson's Bay Company, a lot of companies are there which have been formed under the charters of the company by the British. So keep in mind, these companies, chartered companies, are not formed or not established by the Indian government, but it was established under the British rule before our independence. Now let us look at the second type of a company is a statutory company. It is the same type of a company or which has a very same with the chartered companies or identicalness with the chartered companies. For example, statutory companies also passed under a special act of the parliament to state legislature. This type of a company may not use the word limited as a suffix to the word company. For example, RBI, Reserve Bank of India Act, IDBI Act, IFCI Act, LIC Act, so Life Insurance Corporation Act. So all are these acts, all are these companies passed under the special acts. But this is after independence. These acts, these companies have been passed after independence by the Indian government. So there is a very slight difference between a chartered companies and a statutory companies is that of a chartered companies have been passed by the Britishers before independence of India And after independence of India, the Indian government passed a under special acts, any company like LIC or IDBI Bank or RBI, these companies called a statutory companies. Thereafter, third company comes is that of a registered companies. So these companies are the general companies, common companies which have been established under the Companies Act 1956. After independence, the Companies Act 1956 was enacted, and under that act, if there are certain companies which have been registered, or many of the companies which have been registered, or nowadays which are the and companies are working in India, all the companies have been established under the Companies Act. So the companies which have been formed and registered under the Indian Companies Act 1956 can be called the Registered Companies Act. For example, Infosys company is there, Wipro is there, lots of companies are there. Even in India also, even in Kolhapur also, we can say that Menon and Menon Pistons are the public limited companies which have been registered under the Companies Act 1956. Gadge and Patils, etc., etc. Now let us look at the second classification upon which the types of the companies have been created. Second is on the basis of its liability of the members. So companies can be divided according to the liability that has been imposed upon the members of that company. So as per that, limited liability company and the unlimited companies are there. Limited by, again, there is a class, their companies, limited by companies have been classified by limited by shares and limited by guarantee. So companies limited by shares means where under the liability of the members or the shareholders, or we can say the owners, is limited to the extent of the face value of the shares held by them. So it is one of the most important feature of the company under the Companies Act. So company limited by its shares means the company has been restricted, its ownership has been restricted, its membership has been restricted, or the members' membership has been restricted by the limitations of the shares which have been held by them. For example, suppose one company is there, public limited company is there, I hold shares of rupees 1 lakh in that company, and Mr. A who holds shares of 50,000 rupees in that same company. Now the liability is limited to the extent of the shares I have held in that company. I will be liable for loss as well as the profit for both. If there is a profit, then I will liable for profit. If there is a loss, then I will incur a loss. So I will incur, and that Mr. A would not incur the same liabilities, would not incur the same profits, because I have invested rupees 1 lakh and he has invested rupees 50,000. So the benefits as well as the losses will be limited or made limit upon their liability by imposing certain rules and regulations. So companies limited by shares means the persons who hold the shares, quantity of the shares, whatever it may be, his liability as far as the profit, as far as the loss is concerned, would be in equal proportion. Thereafter, company limited by guarantee. So in this type of a company limited by guarantee, the liability of the members is limited to a fixed amount which they have guaranteed on or at the time of the winding up of the company. So this is what important. The liability of the members is a fixed liability, and which would be incurred by the members or the owners of that company when there is a winding up of the company happens. Thereafter, third category of the company is unlimited companies. Liability of the members is unlimited in this type of a company because they can incur the limitless loss and limitless profit, if any, occurred with the company. If there is a tremendous benefits, then they can acquire that benefit. If there is a loss, tremendous loss, then they can, beyond their limited liability, they can face the loss because they are holding the shares of those of that company, which is unlimited company itself. So liability of the members is unlimited. They have to pay the liabilities of the company from their personal assets if and when required. So these are the two classification we have seen. Third classification has been made by of the company on the basis of its numbers, number of members. So as you know that private limited company, there are certain obligations relating to the members capacity, members strength has been imposed by the Company Act, as well as the public limited companies members have been restricted. So what are these? So according to these aspects, the company also can be classified. So private companies, public companies, these are the, and one person company. These are the three types. Dormant companies also there, and again the agricultural producers companies also there. So there are five companies, types of the companies can be classified according to its members of the number of members. So private companies restricts the rights of the members to transfer shares. It limits the number of members to 200 according to the Act of 2013, which have been passed under in the year 2013, Companies Act 2013, excluding past or present employees of the company. So 2 to 200 can be the limit of the private limited companies. It also prohibits any invitation to the public to subscribe for its shares, debentures and public deposits. So private company is a company which has a member, minimum 2 members, maximum 200 members. It prohibits any invitation to the public of the share capital or issue of the share capital or the raise of the share capital through the public through the subscription of the public for its shares, debentures and public deposits. Public limited companies are the companies which is not a private company. To form this type of a public company, there are at least 7 members are necessary, and there is no limit on the maximum limit of the members. The public limited company has to use the word limited at the end of the company's name. So suffix is the limited. Introduced in the Act 2013, there are certain companies which have been established under the according to the Act of 2013, which is one person company. You know that one person company was not possible under before the 2013 Act. One man company, no possibility. But one man, if he has to start a venture, he has to start a business, then he has to prepare a proprietorship. But this is not happen right now. According to 2013, the one person company also has been permitted to start a business. Thereafter, dormant company can also be specified herein. Thereafter, one more company is here which has not been given in this screen. The third is the agricultural producers company. Like for example, the Swabhimani Doodh in Jaisingpur, which has been established under the agricultural producers company as a producers company. So this type of company has been established under the 2013 amended enactment. So on the basis of the numbers of shares, there are 5 types of company: private companies, public companies, one person company, dormant company and agricultural producers company. Thereafter, fourth classification has been made according to the ownership and control of the company. So means what? Who can control the company? Who can hold as the owner of that company's reign into the hands of him? So first is the government companies. As I already told you, the companies which have been formed by the government under any special act, statutory companies which shares value not less than 51% of the share capital of the company owned by the government, whether it is a central government, whether it is a state government, whether it is a together, both of the governments, if they hold more than 51% of the shares of that company, then this company can be regarded as a government company. Thereafter, next company is a holding company. Holding company is a company which owns more than 50% of the nominal value of the equity share capital of another company, or is controlling the composition of the board of directors of the another company. For example, Tata Group, Tata Sons, TCS. So these are the main. Tata Sons is the company, holding company, and other companies established by the Tata himself itself. Then these companies can be called the subsidiary company. Third company is a subsidiary company controlled by a holding company since it owns less than 50% of the nominal value of the equity shares. Reebok, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, Audi, etc. These are the companies which have been established as a subsidiary of the their main holding company. So these are the types of the companies we have studied, we have looked upon. Thereafter again there is a company which is based upon the nationality. You definitely know that the foreign company and the domestic companies. Domestic companies which have been established under the Companies Act 1956 can be called the companies, domestic companies such as TCS, Tata, Reliance, etc. are these domestic companies, and the foreign companies which have been the companies which have been incorporated outside India but has no place of business, but has a place of business in India, or the business has been started in India but actually it is registered in another country. So these countries can be called foreign companies. For example, Samsung. Samsung is Panasonic. Panasonic has been registered under in Japan but working in India. Samsung is also Korean company, but it's a foreign company but it's working in India. So there are many companies, Chinese companies and European companies, American companies, especially the Japanese companies are there in actually working in India. So these companies can be called a foreign company. So these are the types we have discussed today, the relating to the number of members, regarding the number of members of the company, regarding the liability of the company, regarding the holding capacity of the company, regarding the nationality of the company, so etc etc. So this is what we have discussed today. I think you have got the concept. Now let's look at the difference between the company and partnership. So you know the company means a company which already you have studied, gone through the features of the company. So all the features here can be applied. What is the partnership? So partnership, let's look at the in short distinction between these two. So as far as the mode of creation of the company is considered, company can be registered or under any special act it can be registered, whereas partnership can be registered or can be created by a mutual agreement between the parties, two or more than two parties. As far as the legal status of the company and the partnership is considered, then it is a separate legal entity. It has a separate legal entity like a man, it has a power, company has a power. But company can dispose of property, hold property, acquire property, can sue, can be sued, can file a suit against any individual or against any partnership or against any organization. So company is like a person, whereas partnership has not been assigned any kind of a separate legal entity under the act. So it is not a legal person. Liability is relating liability as far as the liability of the members of the company is related, then its liability as per the public limited company, the members liability is limited to the extent of its shares, whereas no limited liability has been attached to the members of the or partners of the partnership firm. So unlimited liability is there. As far as the management is considered, there is a separation between management and ownership, but there is no separation between management and ownership can be happened in the case of a partnership. Transfer of shares, the free transferation of the shares available in a public limited company. One can hold property, hold shares of that company, again he can sell that shares of that company. There is no restriction, but in the partnership firm there is a restriction that has been imposed, that on the right of transferability of the shares number of minimum number of or strength of the members of the company is already I have given you is a 200, and the number of partners are minimum 2. As far as the powers are considered, in a public limited companies, it confines the powers, the scope of the company's business, and it is difficult to alter it. So memorandum is there, the regulations that cannot be changed. For the purpose of changing the regulations, rules, or any associations clauses, then company has to keep all these record, keep all these resolutions before the company registrar. So it is difficult. Whereas the deed of partnership or any clauses of the partnership as an agreement can be changed at any time according to the will of all the partners. Statutory books registration and auditing, filing in accordance with the company law. So these are the legal formalities that is to be complied by the Companies Act, companies under the Companies Act, whereas there is no such legal formalities available or compliance available with the partnership firm. So legal formalities, no compliance, no necessary compliance. As far as the dissolution or the winding up of the company is concerned, then company can be dissolved only in accordance with the rules and regulations prescribed under the Companies Act. It can be wound up by the creditors, it can be wound up by the members, voluntary winding up it is called. But in a partnership firm, it can be dissolved by an agreement or by the court's order or by the death of the partner. So winding up of a partners is very easy if there is any death occurs, or if there is any order of the court has been made against the partnership, or if there is a agreement between the partners that it is enough, it is now necessary to end of the agreement, end of the partnership agreement or partnership firm, then these type of partnerships can be come to an end. So these are we have studied here, we have discussed here the main types of the companies along with the difference in short of the companies as well as partnership. So if you have any query, feel free to contact me or call me or send me message. Have any doubts, then definitely share your doubts and queries with me. Thank you very much.